What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Northern Nerdcast. Clayton and I are filming this morning. I have to work this afternoon. So, Clayton, what's been going on? What have you been up to lately? It's been a while since we've actually did filming. So,
Yeah, not too much actually. Just kind of getting through the tail end of the whole pandemic lockdown type thing, and started playing again. I picked it back up actually. Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, and handily getting my ass handed to me at every new corner.
yeah, well, let's jump right into it. So, I'm gonna set the stage for you here. So, you go into EB, okay, and you see this amazing looking game called Demon Souls. So you pick it up, you bring it home, you're all excited to play it, you create your character, you do all that fun stuff. You go in and you die, like, literally. And it's not a matter of, oh, you need to get good. Like, this is the type of genre that's here, is the roguelite, roguelike, all these rogue types of games. And the reason that I was talking about Demon Souls is, like, yeah, we'll talk about games of old before, like, later on, but I mean, those games were just hard to begin with. But it just seems like as we got older, the games were, like, they just seem so much more difficult. And for me, I haven't actually, like, rage quit. I don't know, like, I've put my controller down in frustration, we'll say. But um it's one of those types of genres that really has taken off. Like, a lot of people love this style of game. It's not for me personally. Like, I do have a couple of the roguelite games. Like, I picked up Hades for the Switch, Salt and Sanctuary. Like, I love these types of, like, style of games, but I don't like doing the same thing over and over and over. And I mean, to each their own. If you like it, that's great. But it's not something that's for me. I skipped over the entire Dark Souls. I've got what the heck? Nioh 1 and 2. They're sealed. Like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna actually play them. I just, like, even Jedi Fallen Order was considered a roguelite game, but that's one of the few games that I actually really enjoyed. And like, there was an easy setting that I like playing all my games on not like a super challenge. Like, I play games for the story, not to die over and over. So it's like, I don't know, what's your take on this whole genre that seems to have really swept in.
Well, for me personally, I wouldn't consider like Dark Souls the same as something like I wouldn't consider Dark Souls a roguelite, like, because a roguelite is classified as you get one chance, you go as far as you can, and then when you die, you have to start all over. So
Like
I
Ghost
guess,
Runner.
yeah, I guess this is like a Souls could be like a mini roguelite, because there's a risk reward system like Bloodborne, Demon Souls, Dark Souls, and Sekiro all have this mechanic where there's a save point that you get to, and there is always a heavy penalty for death, um, for pushing beyond. You know what I mean? There's the farther you get from your chosen save point, the farther you push, the greater the risk. You know what I mean? But also the greater the reward, right? You
Yeah.
may end up finding another bonfire, another save point, and then there's a breath of, like, there's breathing room. I can breathe here, and then you can zip back and forth between the save points in these endless grinding loops, picking up stuff that you need, picking up experience and stuff. And the one thing that Sekiro doesn't have that the rest of the Soulsborne games have is the ability to go back and pick up any lost experience and lost money. When you die, you just lose half your cash. That's how it goes, which kind of makes it a bit easier, but at the same time, um, Sekiro sets itself apart from the rest of the Souls games as well, as by utilizing the parry mechanic from the Souls games and making it mandatory. If you want to kill bosses, you absolutely have to be able to pull off these death blow parries, because if you can't, they have a mechanic built in where you actually can't beat the boss.
Oh wow. See,
Yeah,
that wouldn't be something. See, like for me, that's not something I want to think about. Like, and again, I'm not gonna say I'm a hardcore gamer. Like I'm a casual gamer, more of a collector now. Like I'll still play games that I enjoy playing. Like I'm replaying Final Fantasy VII on the PS5 now, but like having to plan how I'm gonna beat a boss before I actually have to go and fight the boss, that does nothing for me. Like I just
Oh.
it's almost like a real-time strategy in the sense that you have to know your moves. And like I'm still playing through Ghost Runner, and like I'll play it for about 15 minutes and then I'll put it down because like I keep like these types of games are you're meant to be dying over and over, and Ghost Runner actually um rates you on how many times you die, and the more times you die, obviously your score
Yeah.
isn't going to be as good. But it's also one of those types of games that if it wasn't for and I'm a firm believer in music making games, if it wasn't for the music, I would have stopped playing this game a long time ago. Like just it's so unforgiving, like running even, and it's not even enemies killing you, it's like timing your jumps so that like when if you have to jump a super far ledge, you actually have to slow your ninja down and then let go so he launches forward, and at the same time being shot at by enemies. I don't like stuff like that. And
Uh,
like it's I don't know, again, teach their own, but I just like I don't know.
you know what though? For me personally, like the Souls games, and I'm not a good gamer. I am not what you would call like a highly skilled gamer, but I have beat a couple of the Souls games. Um, and I've beaten like pretty much every iteration of Ninja Gaiden on the new gen platforms, like Gaiden 1, Black 2, 3, Sigma 1, 2, Razor's Edge. I beat all of those, and those are, well, the first one more than any of the other ones is just rage inducing because you have to fight the camera and stuff. But with the Souls games, like death is part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
Death is it's how you death is constant death is how you learn. And I mean, there's penalties for death, but there's also a lot to be gained from it, I guess. I don't know. In this one here, actually, there's in Sekiro, there's a mechanic where you can ring this bell, the demon's bell, and it puts this sinister burden on you, and it actually makes the game harder, but it makes the rewards better. So you ring the bell again, or you dispel the bell demon, and then it goes back to normal difficulty, but the rewards you get aren't as good. So you kind of toggle back and forth between, well, you know, I run the risk of every enemy being able to absolutely kick my ass, but at the same time, I'm getting a lot of good stuff for this. So
Yeah,
there's a real
well,
risk
and
reward.
that actually like that sounds like right now where my buddy and I were playing Dark Alliance, and I mean it's not a rogue style game at all, but like it's getting shredded by reviews. Like
Yeah, that's what I heard, man. I read or I watched Skill Up's
mhm.
Skill Up's review of it, and he just ripped it apart.
Yeah, like it's the whole like and this could be a whole different, like it could be a completely different episode entirely, but um like it's that type of, like you're talking about the reward system, that's what it's like in this. Like you're fighting a completely like shoddy camera. Like it's just I've never seen such poor camera angles in a game before. But
Sonic
like
06.
yeah, but I mean, so you get to a certain point, you defeat like the mini boss or a couple waves of enemies, and then you have a choice. This fire pit appears, and you have a choice of either resting and forfeiting any bonus that you
Oh
had picked
yeah,
up, or
yeah.
hitting the B button and making
Keep
your
going.
bonus that much better.
Yeah.
And so we played for a little bit last night, and the camera angles won. Like we just both of us we got to a certain point where we thought there was going to be an actual save, like a rest stop, and there's no actual way to um stay at the boss unless you get to the boss first. If you're 3/4 of the way through the level and you die, you start right at the beginning, just like you said for the rogue style games. And we got to the point where we were like, this is stupid. Like, it should have been released as a beta. Like, there's no way this should have been released as the final game. Like, this is worse than Cyberpunk. I'm gonna say that. But it's just it's a hard game in the sense that because it's so broken, the enemy AI is so off that like certain times you could walk into a room and no enemy would move. You could literally go up and fight them and they wouldn't fight back. At other times you get swarmed by like 6, 7, 8 of these elite soldiers with 3 hits and you're dead. And then you got to start right at the beginning and fight your way through again. It's not that the enemies are gone, but so I mean, I guess it could be considered like a super rogue-ish style, but like even Hades, amazing game. Like if you have a Switch or you're considering a Switch or it's coming on PS4, PS5, whatever, definitely pick it up. Like you're supposed to die because every time you die, you get more experience.
Yeah.
But it's just same with the Binding of Isaac. It's that kind of style game, but like not. It's more of a third person instead of like the original Zelda style, like going through all the over the head. But definitely pick it up. It's one that and Jedi Fallen Order are probably 2 games that I would actually consider like actually play.
I liked Jedi Fallen Order actually, but I didn't. But some of the I felt like the combat wasn't quite good enough to stand up to some of the bosses that they threw at you. Like I don't know, maybe I didn't. I basically I think I just went through that game on normal, and I think there were 4 like hidden bosses or something, and I'm pretty sure I beat all 4 of them. I think, but I don't. I remember the first one. The first one was the giant frog. What's his name? Ogo Logo or whatever it was. Augie Poggy.
Yes, I don't know, something, but
yeah, but I remember he was a real fuck around because I don't know, I didn't have the mechanics down yet, I guess, but if you're talking about like rage quitting, like sometimes I have to put the controller down from Souls and walk away because I feel like I got hit in a BS way, but most of the time when I die, I see it coming and I'm like, okay, whatever, it's not a big deal, you know.
So have you ever thrown your controller, like younger, like anything?
Let me put it this way. I have gotten angry at games and put my controllers down horizontally and at speed.
Yeah, controllers are too expensive for me to consider doing. I did it when I was younger because
well, the Ninja Gaiden games, there was the first one. In the first one, I remember there's a couple of games that I've rage quit on. The first Ninja Gaiden, I think it's about halfway, 2/3 of the way through the game. There's one boss there where it's it's like 2 electric worms or something in a sewer tunnelway. I'm telling you, it was the most infuriating fight. It was worse than the last boss. It was worse than any of the secret bosses. Like, it was just an unbelievably brutal fight. Coupled with the fact that the camera angle was fixed and you had to use a bow, which was the most unwieldy bow in any game I've ever had the displeasure of using. There was that, and Titanfall, the original Titanfall. There was a challenge when you prestiged over, like when you got, same as the other Call of Duty games, right? You get so many kills, so much experience, and there are these weapon challenges you have to do. And then once you complete the weapon challenges, you prestige over and you start over again. Well, you get to Gen 5, and there's one called the Gooser. And what the Gooser was that you had to kill an ejecting pilot. A pilot who was ejecting from a mech. So there was a whole meta going on for a while where you'd enter into a lobby and people could see what gen you were. And if they saw a bunch of Gen 5s in a lobby, nobody would eject because everybody knew that somebody else was going for the Gooser. So you would essentially cock block each other from getting through this. And it took me, I only had to get 5 of them. When the game first came out, you had to get 50 of them to pass. And it was so fucking impossible that they actually Respawn actually patched it and they ratcheted it down to 5 because the meta dictated that people just could not get past it because people were cock blocking them. So that was another one. It took me like 3 days to get my last one, and I was playing every day. I was playing all day. It was utterly like just bullshit. And then I think the last one is probably Echo the Dolphin for the Dreamcast. That game, it sounds stupid because it's a game about a dolphin, but I'm telling you, that game was fucking rock balls hard in a day and age where we didn't have the internet, where we couldn't just run to, you couldn't just run out and just, look up a strategy guide or whatever.
Pull out your credit card and buy a code.
Yeah, there was like, I think it was only, the game was like something like 25 levels long, and I was in the 5th level, and there was a jump that was just, the controls were,
I know exactly which level you're talking about.
The one with the rings?
Yeah.
Trying to jump for Atlantis? Oh my God, man. Holy fuck, that was frustrating. I remember I got mad. I probably took a few years off my life. I got so mad at that. But I was an angry child too. So, I don't do that anymore. Now I'm just like, okay, whatever, I died. I just put it down and I go and do something else for a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, like I said, the Souls games, it's kind of part of it. It doesn't really bother me. I don't think I've ever actually like raged at a Souls game. Even Ornstein Smog in the first Dark Souls. There's a couple of them that were a real pain in the ass. The old king there from Dark Souls 2.
Fume Knight. I have no idea what you're talking about. So
anybody who's played them will know which ones I'm talking about. What's the other one there? The Fume, not the Fume Knight. I can't remember. Anyways, yeah, but it doesn't really. I don't know. These ones don't really bother me for some reason.
I would say for me, I'll talk about a rage quit that happened at my expense, but when I was younger, I would say, it's not even a rogue game at all, but it was just that one level actually in both Ninja Turtles and Battletoads.
Like the speeder bike level.
I mean, Battletoads in general was difficult, but it was just like going down that cavern and trying to fight all the crows. That, like, nowadays, like I've got a tiny console that has like all these games, so like I don't have to go out and I don't collect like the old stuff, but that and the bike level in Ninja Turtles, if any old school game really started, like, to me, really started the rogue genre, and not even the fact that like it was difficult, but Double Dragon 3, you had 2 lives for the entire game, and if you died, you couldn't save your progress. You started right at the beginning. And I mean, let's Jimmy and Bimmy aside, like, unless you had a Game Genie where you had like 99 lives, that game was, like, I mean, not unbeatable. People have done it, but it was very hard to complete on with 2 lives, and until you got Chin and what was his name, like Raizu or something, the Egyptian
Raizu.
Right, yeah. Then it became a little bit easier because they were just so much stronger. But to me, like, that was, like, I love the Double Dragon series, but number 3 was a step back, obviously, for many reasons. But it was just, for me, it was the 2 lives, and then that was it. Even 2 players. I can't remember if the lives were shared. I think they were.
Oh,
so if Bimmy died and used both lives, Jimmy dies after his health bar is it, and that's it. Game over.
Yeah. That sucks. Oh man.
But
you never played Rogue then, eh? Like the namesake for the roguelike genre. It's an old PC game. Yeah, it's a PC game from, I think it's from the 80s. I never had a chance to play it either, but that's like the original. That's the original. You started the game, you went through it as far as you could, and then when you died, that was it. You lost everything and had to start all over again. But it's cool to see that the roguelites have come back, and that people have said no, Supreme Challenge is its own reward, because there have been a couple of really good ones. Like, have you played Dead Souls, or not Dead Souls?
Dead Cells.
Dead Cells.
Yep. I
Dead
like that
Cells
too.
Dead Cells is fun, but Dead Cells takes the rogue mechanic, and then it kind of spins it around a little bit. You know, it adds something to it. Because I would hate, like, it would suck to get like 99% of the way through the game and then just get, you know, I don't know, just get wiped for some reason or another and have to start all over again.
Yeah. So what I mentioned before, when Mike and I were promoting NGE, we were at we had somehow struck a deal with the guy that created the Sportsman show that was at the Coniston, I think the Coniston Arena. So we had traded like he had given us a table in exchange for 10 VIP tickets or whatever it was, and so I brought my tiny console to set up to let people try it, and this family came with their 2 kids, and I think it was Street Fighter 2, because that was one of the tournaments that we were doing at the show.
Oh, no way.
And so these 2 brothers pick up the controllers and they start playing with each other, and the younger one lost. I mean, that's typically how it goes, is the younger sibling will lose. He got so mad, he threw my controller on the ground, like in front of his parents. And like I looked at the parents, and they looked at me and they looked at him. Didn't say shit to the kid. They said it's time to go. It's like you almost broke my controller, and you're not gonna your kid almost broke my controller, and you're not even gonna like say anything. Like I'm not gonna cause a scene because we're guests at the show, but I was like, it took everything in me not to punch a child. I was so mad, and like, oh, it was just, oh, you know what? If you're gonna do that at your own house, that's fine. But when you're in a public, not punching children, that's not fine. Never punch children. But
let's just get that out of the way.
If you're gonna rage quit, do it at your own house with your own controllers. Mommy and daddy can buy you another controller. You don't take somebody's controller that is setting something up for people to try, get so upset over a video game that you have to throw the controller on the ground. And that was like the worst rage quitting incident I have ever seen.
No doubt. No, I don't know. Yeah, that's just bad parenting. That's what that is.
Well, it's like, it's just, at least say like, why did you do that or something? But to make it look like it's not that big of a deal, like, do you want me to come to your house and smash your boat? Like,
yeah, no doubt. And then just be like, the guy comes over and be like, what the hell did you do to my boat? And then just look at your friends and be like, it's time to go. Yeah, no, you're gonna pay for this.
Just dive into the water and swim away. They'll never catch me. So
break the line of sight. Do like Snake,
yeah,
hide under,
go underwater,
a cardboard box.
Go underwater and they'll never find you.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's just like this is obviously a genre that's not. And I'm not saying it negatively. It's not gonna go away. There's always going to be something. Well, like there's Sekiro 2 that I heard is coming. So.
Oh yeah, I'll play that.
And then you had mentioned why I've seen this before, but the Ninja Gaiden's getting like a port over to like an HD remaster on their old stuff.
Yeah. I don't even know if I'm gonna play that actually. Traditionally,
what's that?
Traditionally, Ninja Gaiden remasters haven't been so great.
Well, I had been hearing that the Steam version is being hammered because there's nothing to it. Like there's no features at all. There's like
it's a cash-in, is what it is. I don't know if they just want I don't know if they just want the IP to stay relevant or something, but they really should. If they want a new Ninja Gaiden game, they really should make one, because they made Nioh and they made Nioh 2. It's the same team, right? It's Team Ninja. So
yeah. And I mean, and that brings me to talking about Team Ninja. Like, Final Fantasy Souls.
Oh yeah, no.
So the demo just like it was launched, and it was launched to a very rocky start. It was it was only on PS5, and for the demo itself, and for some reason it was corrupting people's files to the point that apparently some systems were getting bricked.
Oh no way.
So anyways, they fixed it, and it's just recently come the demo trial is done. Excuse me. But it's a retelling of Final Fantasy, the first one. Yeah, so like it's all about Garland and chaos, and
I'm going to kill chaos.
I don't know if I like it's a Final Fantasy game, so it's like one of those things that I have to have it.
Yeah, I'll probably end up buying it, but much like Dissidia NT, I will never play it. Like I'm sorry that I even opened my copy of NT, because I think it would be worth more closed with the steelbook that I have. I've got the Sephiroth steelbook, and it's worth more to me actually closed than open, because I love Dissidia and I love Duodecim.
It's a great series. Yeah.
I love those on PSP, but man, when they brought out the one on PS4, I couldn't play it. This is just garbage. I don't want this. Why is this the way that this is? Why force this, Square? Like, it sucked. Or I shouldn't say it sucked. I didn't like it. Like,
but you know what the funny thing was about NT was, like, it was Square's name, but it was a totally different production company.
Yeah. Was it like Platinum Games or something?
Platinum Games or KIT or something like that, or I know it wasn't NIS. They won't touch a Final Fantasy game, but it was like just Square Enix in name only kind of thing, and that seems to be what Square's doing now. Is unless it's like a flagship game like Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy, their games are getting put out to other production companies with Square's backing. So like you look at Outriders, it's Square Enix, but it's People Can Fly.
Yeah.
Avengers, I think, is Crystal Dynamics.
Square's just publishing. You know what I mean? The dev teams are all different. Like IO Interactive, like the Hitman stuff. Hitman is IO is owned by Square. Eidos or Crystal Dynamics is owned by Square, right? Like Tomb Raider, Hitman, Deus Ex.
Well, IO Interactive is not part of Square anymore. That was the only game that Square, the only game, excuse me, that Square has that's part of Hitman still is the Hitman Sniper for the mobile.
Oh yeah,
because that was announced at E3 during the Square Enix showcase.
Did Square drop IO software? Or?
I think that IO bought themselves out, and now they're their own company.
I can't say I blame them. I wouldn't want to be working for Square, because they have some. Well, I don't know. They did a good job. Like, who was it? Did a good job with the Deus Ex games. Both of them actually are criminally underrated, as far as I'm concerned. Like, those should have been way bigger than they were, and. The new Tomb Raider trilogy was good.
Yeah.
Although I was a little bit like when I first saw like the trailers for the first one, I was a little bit disappointed when it basically just turned into a Tomb Raider game, because I thought it was going to be more like an open world sort of survival game, which at the time was like a newer thing, and it seemed like they were trying to paint like a grittier, more realistic Lara. But then the issue became that after it turned into just kind of a gamey game, there was serious like ludonarrative dissonance. What do you call that? Yeah, ludonarrative. I think it's dissonance, where the narrative, the character in the narrative, the character in the cutscenes, and the character that you play in the game are like not cut from the same cloth. Like, Laura would be talking about in the cutscenes about how she's so scared and how she's a survivor and how she's, oh my God, they're going to kill Roth, blah, 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 blah. And then they give you a machine gun and you cut a path of carnage through that game that is just unrivaled by Rambo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're just gunning guys down while running, not stopping, clip in, clip out, jump, bang, 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 bang. like bullets in the head. Like it just
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. But that's getting off topic. Anyways, the point is that Square published that, but they let them run with that, and they did a really good job of it.
I
So
mean, I there's definitely an allure to a Final Fantasy Souls game. It's something that I think I'll check out just because I don't know, it's Final Fantasy, and like for me, Final Fantasy is like a 90% positive track record. Like there's obviously some not great games, but you know what, another series that kind of died off um is, I don't know if you'd call it like a brother to Ninja Gaiden, but Shinobi. And I mean, like the last Shinobi was on PS2, and that, mind you, you were fighting camera angles and stuff, but that was a hard game too, like really
yeah,
hard.
I
And
remember that one came out, and it's funny because I was a Shinobi game from way back in like the 2D days,
mhm.
and I'm not sure why, but I never ended up playing that one, despite the fact that it looked really cool. I played the last one I actually beat was Shinobi 3: Return of the Ninja Master on the Sega Genesis, and I bought Shinobi Legions for the Saturn, but I never actually finished it. That one was quite a bit harder than 3, I think. And it was all that was at the height of like the 2D like digitized actor craze, you know.
Mhm.
And so yeah, we went through all of that, but I
Well,
never
where
played the 3D one.
yeah, it was, I mean, it was cool. um I remember beating it. I can't honestly remember the game itself. I just remember playing through it, beating it, and thinking like, this is so cool. Like you're running around and you see his cape, and like
The
like
red sash.
the red sash was like flowing behind, and it didn't look like a typical game where it would just like all stick out like this and then just drop it. Like it actually
Yeah,
flowed, kind of like the water in Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance on PS,
yeah.
like when it came, the first one. Um, but I mean, like with Final Fantasy now getting a Souls game, is there any um title that you would never think of getting a rogue title that now with that happening you could see a possibility, or that you would want to see a series picked up for a rogue?
Berserk. Do you know what Berserk is?
The end. Oh my goodness. Swallowed water down the wrong tube. Yeah, oh yeah, I know what Berserk is.
Yeah, I would like to see a Berserk Souls type game,
That
because
would be cool.
they made a long time ago. Obviously, they made sort of the Berserk Guts Rage on the Dreamcast,
Mhm.
and it was good. It was, for the time, it was excellent. Now it still holds up. It's extremely short though. It's not a very long game, but if you ask me, like given that universe, given that whole lore and everything that goes with that, I feel like Berserk would be a perfect fit for that genre. And I would be surprised if nobody in gaming had that conversation yet.
Well, and it's almost kind of like it's too late now because the creators died just recently. Like the creator
Yeah,
of the series passed away.
that's true. He passed away, but we have 30 years of Berserk lore
Yeah.
running around. I mean, um, they made Guts Rage, which takes place during the Golden Arc, I think, the Golden Age arc. But if you look on Netflix right now, too, the three Golden Age movies are actually on there.
Mhm.
Like, and the manga has been going on for, like I said, like 30 years, and it's so rich. There's so much stuff in it, and the Souls games, especially if From Software was going to make it, I mean, they live in that kind of thing. They live in lore. Like those guys love their lore. So I don't know. I think it would be a good fit.
Yeah, I have I think I've got the PS4 one. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a Dynasty Warriors kind of game.
Of Berserk.
Band of the Hawk.
Oh yeah, that's right too. I forgot they brought that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, for me, like it's just so far out there, but just imagine they made a Mario Souls game.
Oh my god.
Like realistic, like set in Dino Hatton
Oh my,
with
oh
like a
yeah.
Bob Hoskins style Mario,
Dark Mario.
just like so angry all the time, like ripping mushrooms apart to eat them, like just super gritty. Like that would be the only redeeming quality of the Mario movie, is if they made a Souls game based in that world.
Oh my God. You know that Nintendo would never sign on for that.
No,
Like
it's
ever.
getting away from the whole their family concept. Mario
Yeah.
going around murdering turtles.
There's a
Taking their head, taking the shell, and going.
there's a video actually on YouTube. It's a couple of years old now about it's Mario Kart, but
Yeah,
have you
angry
seen it?
Luigi.
Angry Mario, angry Luigi. Kratos is in it. Yeah, it's friggin' funny. Um, I don't know what else I would put in there. What else I would have for I'm thinking about like single player sword and sorcery type games that would
Well, we're
benefit
already
from.
getting we're already getting like a fantasy in terms of Elden Ring, but
Yeah,
I have no interest in Elden Ring. Like
I do.
I'm not
I'll end up playing it.
I'm
I
not
will
gonna
end up
I'm
playing
not gonna I'm not gonna get into my thoughts on George R. Martin complaining that fans are upset that his book still isn't out yet. We're not even gonna go there.
it. Well, he's had a
He
lot of
brought
other
that
stuff
on
on the
himself.
go.
Yeah, but anyways, I don't want to get into
He's
that.
you know to be honest, I and getting completely off topic, I don't think he's a super great writer. His stuff just kind of wanders around and it doesn't really make any sense and it's hard to like keep straight. And I credit obviously I credit the show Game of Thrones for making his writing way bigger than it was. But don't forget, it wasn't just him. He had a whole team of people editing and changing and moving around and rearranging stuff and making sure that it all kind of fit together.
Yeah.
Because if he would have directed the whole thing, it would have just been a meandering mess. It would have been the room there. Tommy Wiseau's.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
um, but yeah, I'll still play Elden Ring just because I like the style of game. I like the balance to it because I mean there is a lot of risk and there's a lot of dying and there's a lot of oh, okay, I got to go back and do that again and oh no, that was bullshit and I shouldn't have died that way. But when you win, when you beat something in a game like that, I'm telling you the feeling is so good. Like I'm telling you, like when I beat the first Ninja Gaiden for the Xbox, like I felt like I had changed the world. It was amazing. It was an amazing feeling because I knew because everybody I talked to was like, man, I couldn't even get past the first level. And I fucking pushed through that game and I beat that son of a bitch. And it felt good. And I don't think there's ever been a game that I've played that's licked me where I never went back to it and never played it again. Like even Sekiro, I can't remember. I was in the middle of something else. I picked it up. I got about a third of the way through the game. I hit an enemy that I couldn't beat, and I was like, whatever, I'll come back to it. And that was like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. So then I picked it back up, and I hadn't played a Souls game since Sekiro, I don't think. But I picked it back up and I started playing it. And at first I was like, this is bullshit. I don't remember this being this hard and blah, blah, blah. But then, you know, slowly you get back into it. You start to understand what makes it tick. And now I'm like, I'm just murdering everything now. Except
And you
for,
know, the worst feeling when you put down a game and don't go back to it is like, well, and then you well not you don't go back to it. You put it down for a while, then you go back to it, and you're in this like area that you knew at the time why you were saving it there, and then it's like, what am I
oh,
supposed to
yeah,
do?
exactly. Yeah, I know. Well, when you start it back up, you're like, why? Okay, so why do I have like no
Why am I
clothes.
in this forest?
Yeah, exactly. But you're like, why am I in this forest? And then you're looking at your loadout. And you're like, why do I have this sword equipped? And why is my guy not wearing anything? What was I doing that required this setup? And then you're like, am I gonna fuck something up that I was in the middle of? Like, think. I tried to pick up Dark Souls 2. I was trying to show one of my buddies there, and I have a save. I have a save from like the end of the game where I beat it, and I got up from the bonfire, I stepped out the door and I got killed right away. And my guy was like soul level 200 and something. Like I'm a jacked dude, you know what I mean? But the games are just lethal. You can't just step back into them. So this one took a little bit of getting used to again, but I'll beat it. I will get through it. Feels good though.
I see. I don't like when like playing through Ghost Runner. Like, um, maybe if you would probably really enjoy it. Like it's like I said, it's not a terrible game. Like I love the game. I just don't like the whole one hit. Now there like the nice thing about that though is when you do die, if you get to a certain point, you don't have to start at the beginning again. You start where that like you walk into a new area. Sorry, I shouldn't say walk. You're running throughout the entire game, but like I don't like that whole one hit kill thing. And there's a second one that's in production, so now I'm gonna have to finish the first one. But it's like you said, like so a lot of the roguelite games are not long. They're just because of how punishing they are. Like I mean it from what I've read about Ghost Runner, like I'm not that far in, but it's like a 5-hour game. So it's not like it's a super long game. It just feels like that because you're dying for 6 hours.
Oh, that's long. See, if you can't die once and then you have to start the entire game over again, like the ones that I've seen, like Dead Cells, I think you can beat it in about 20 minutes. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. No, 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 no. That's not the one I'm thinking of. I think it's like an hour or something. There's a shooter that I was playing for a little while on Xbox Live called Grid. It's it looks almost like Star Fox. Remember Star
Okay.
Fox?
Yeah.
So it looks almost like Star Fox, but it's a skill based shoot 'em up. And when you get to the end of it, you get a points rating, and it's always exactly the same game, but it becomes less about um, just the fact that you can beat it, and it becomes more about how you beat it, how stylishly you beat it, how because it's always going to take you basically the same amount of time plus minus a minute or two depending on the last boss or any of the bosses really. But you get graded at the end, and it becomes, once you can beat it, it just becomes about how good you can beat it, you know what I mean? So that one's fun too, actually. Very cyberpunky type game.
Yeah, oh yeah, and that was one of the big things for me about Ghost Runner. Um, like I had heard about it and I was like, and then you start watching the trailers and you hear the music and it's like, this is a cyberpunk first person game. Like that's, I mean, well, cyberpunk is first person, but like it's you unlike cyberpunk, like you start the game off as a badass. Like yeah, the enemies are equal to your strength, but I mean it's very satisfying running through a level with all you have is a sword. You can deflect shots back at them and slicing their heads off.
Yeah. Are the levels
Where
always exactly the same?
no, you're so basically with Ghost Runner, like you're in a tower. It's called Dharma Tower, and like there's you have to work your way all the way up to the top. Like you go through, like it's a city, and like you start off in like a boiler area, like a boiler room where it's all like mechanics and machines and there's guards. And then once you get into the higher up levels, you're in like different parts of the city. But like it's just enemies. There's no like interacting with people. It's just go go go.
Yeah.
So and then like you have a progression system where when you beat a certain area, it's kind of like a Tetris thing. You have to like you've got a block where you can put different pieces to enhance yourself,
Oh
and
yeah.
like you have to fit it like Tetris so that you can get the best stats.
Yeah, yeah, I see what you're saying.
So but you like excuse me, um there's you can't get any armor that's going to be making you get killed in 3 hits. Like it's 1 hit and you're done.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I see what you're
But
saying.
the other nice thing about Ghost Runner is the load time is literally like half a second. So you die, you just hit respawn and you're right there. It's not like go to a black screen and you
Oh
see
yeah.
loading,
Yeah, yeah. That's
because
like
that takes you right out of the game if you had to deal with that all the time.
oh yeah. That is the one thing. Souls games seem to load fairly quickly unless you're transitioning between areas. But I know what you mean about like instantaneous spawning. Like if you ever played any of the Trials games for Xbox, the dirt biking games,
Oh
the
no.
2D ones. Oh yeah, same thing. As soon as you wipe out, you can instantly hit X just to start over.
Hmm.
It makes a huge difference.
It's all right. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about on this subject, or
No, no.
because I don't I mean again I don't know enough about the genre to really say one way or the other on it. It's just from what I myself have played. So, and I mean like there's obviously really good games and games that are you think are going to be good and it's just pure punishment.
Yeah, well, I find that there I have played a couple of the Souls clones. Um, what the hell was the one called? Lords of the Fallen or Shadows of the
Yeah,
Fallen.
yeah, the like yeah, that fantasy style game.
Yeah, that one was brutal.
Yeah,
I
Lords of the
I
Fallen. It looked
I
cool. I was gonna get it, and I was like, and the reviews were so, and I was like, no.
It looked like a really good looking Souls game actually. Like the graphics and everything were really nice, but the friggin' hitboxes were just off, and I don't know. I didn't like it. I
What
wasn't a
was
big fan.
actually one game that neither of us talked about is Bloodborne. Have you played that one?
Yeah, I
What'd
played
you think of
Bloodborne.
that?
I liked it. I like the fact that I never finished that one, but I like the fact that they give you the gun and they changed enough of the Souls formula to make it interesting, and it was gorgeous. Like it was a gorgeous game. But I put it in the same thing as Sekiro, where it's like the Souls formula, but they put a twist on it. In that one, there it was all about the dodging and the guns and whatnot, right? In Sekiro, it's all about perfect parrying and basically reversing your enemy's attacks back on them. That's the like key to beating the game. So yeah,
Nice.
it's good though. Eventually, one day I'll get through it, but I can only do like one of these things a year or every 2 years or so. I'll always be behind. There'll always be a new Souls game for me to play.
It's funny though, because like going through all the exclusives, like because I was in a collecting phase where I wanted to have all the PS4 exclusives. I mean there's enough, but there's not like an abundance like PS2 and stuff. But
Yeah.
like I've got Bloodborne, I've got Nioh. Well, I don't even Neo 2 doesn't even say only on PlayStation, so I think it's gone to PC now too. But like I've got all the rogue style games. Will I ever play them? Most likely not. But it's just it adds to the plethora of games that I have behind me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, we've got a couple of exciting episodes coming up. I mean, I know we discussed this before. We've got the date and time with him is TBD, but we've got Philip Roche coming on, who is quite possibly one of my favorite villains now of any style of game. He was the constant in the new Hitman trilogy. If you haven't had a chance to play that yet, Clayton, definitely like this.
I'll
This
get
guy is
around to
that.
it.
This guy is that type of villain he's not in your face, but like he pulls all the strings from behind the scenes, and it's just
Yeah.
it's really cool. And then hopefully we've got a couple other surprises lined up. I've been in contact with David Bateson quite a bit actually, like uh not stalker-ish, but like he finally got the print from Rob.
Oh, nice.
So he's been we've been talking about a lot of stuff that he asked for Rob's permission for. So that's I mean that's pretty cool. But yeah, he's working on getting a couple other potential guests on for us, which I think would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Would round out the main cast of the Hitman trilogy. But yeah, for now we've got Philip Roche coming again, TBD. He's been really busy promoting the new like the DLCs for Hitman. So and just work in general. Plus, he's also got the time difference that we had to work out with David. So there's just a lot of maneuvering to get this to work. But yeah, it will happen. And it's just the other two are up in the air right now, but we'll touch base on that when I get more confirmation on that. So
sounds good.
But thanks again for everybody tuning in. I'm not sure what our next topic will be. I'm going to do a couple shorts. I finally got around to rearranging my games room, so now it actually feels like a games room. Like it's not just like a couch and behind me. It'll be like a hashtag short video on YouTube because it won't be long. It's not a big game room, but until then, NNC Cribs.
Yeah.
But thanks again for everybody coming on or tuning in, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.